Hi, thank you so much for joining me for day 28 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life, round 13. And today I'm very excited to be using the brand new Vicki Boutin Discover and Create. This arrived at Hey Little Magpie this morning and I couldn't wait to get all my orders packed, get all my work sorted and sit down and have a play this evening. So this sketch is by Kathy Lang. I'll add her details below. She's Canadian Scrapper Girl here on YouTube, but I'll link her in the comments box below this video. So the photos that I'm scrapping are two photos of James back in 2018 when Ross took him on a Wembley Stadium tour. Amelia and I were at a Knit and Natter for the day in London, so they came down as well and did this tour and they absolutely loved it. It was freezing though, it was March and we had a bit of snow that day, so I'm just pleased that they were kind of wrapped up warm. So I've pulled this paper that's got the paintbrushes going across it. I didn't want the paintbrushes, so I'm adding a strip to the left-hand side. I've just torn the edge and I'm curling up those edges. So it's a little bit like the sketch where you've got the strip down that left-hand side. I'm working on the left-hand side of the sketch today because it is the double-page sketch. And then there's a strip down the centre of that piece, and so I just trimmed about 3/4 of an inch off this green grid. And I'm using that as the strip, and I'm also going to add the black scalloped border from the sticker sheet you can see on the left hand side. Just bringing in my T-square ruler just to check that this is straight and then I'll add that sticker down, as I say, down the left hand side. And I'm really pleased with how that's looking. I love those colours going across the page. They're nice muted colours, and you don't see an awful lot by the time I've finished, of course, everything's covered, but they do look really good. So I'm just going to map the photos onto some white cardstock. These are both 4x6. I haven't trimmed them down at all, keeping them the full size per the sketch. So just sticking the first one down and trimming that off, and then the second one on a fresh piece of card. I got this card from our card supplier. They sent me some offcuts, and these strips just happen to be absolutely perfect for matting my 6x4 and 3x4 photos. So I'm really happy to have these at the moment. It's lovely to have those in my stash. They're just kept in my drawer so that I can reach for them when I want to map photos. So here are the papers. I've taken one of each of the papers from this collection. I know I'll be using this collection an awful lot, and I'm just working my way through trying to find some background papers to add as layers behind these photos. So I've settled on that bluish grey one. I love that colour, and it's almost the same colour as the desk that James is sitting at the bottom. It's the interview desk where they interview the managers after a game. So I wanted to use that bluish grey, and then I was looking for a second one, and suddenly I realised that this piece is like a newsprint, and I thought that would be really nice to use. It's a lovely neutral. So I'm just going to cut a strip of that slightly deeper than the photo on the white card, and the same with the pale grey one, and I'm going to distress all the edges on each of these. I'm also going to keep the offcuts of this paper, not the big pieces, just the small bit that I trim off the side here, because I'm going to add those as an extra layer on each of the photos. So each photo has the two papers on it. So here I am with my edge distresser, just distressing all those edges on the white cardstock first, and then going in on the pattern paper afterwards. So just gluing it in place first, and then distressing those edges. And I'm slightly offsetting the photo. It's slightly wonky. I wanted it that way because I like the way it looks when you've got a few layers behind the photo to have it a bit wonky. So onto the second photo, and exactly the same thing, just distressing those edges and then sticking it down to the paper and distressing those. So while I'm doing that, please don't forget to check the description box down below, where I will have Kathy's details and also the playlist of everybody else who's joining in on YouTube. And there is also a Facebook group. If you go onto Facebook and search for 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life, it's the one Facebook group that does all of the series that Christie's done. So there's loads and loads and loads of inspiration there in the albums if you go and take a look. You do have to answer some questions to enter the group, so just bear that in mind. Answer honestly and Christie will let you in. So here I am with those second pieces, as I mentioned, and I'm just going to glue those behind the photos, and once again just distress the edges that you can see. Obviously these aren't the full 4x6 inches, so they don't cover the full photo, but it just provides another bit of depth and definition behind the photo, which I really enjoy. So just getting those situated, and then I am going to pop these photos down with some foam pads. I use the 25mm Sticks 2 foam pads that are sold on a roll, and they're absolutely brilliant for this sort of thing. So I tend to use around 4 to 6 on an 4x6 photo. Today I'm just using 4 because I know I'm going to tuck things behind, and also I don't want them where the paper is curled up on the left hand side. So I'm just adding them strategically inside the photo, if you like. So there's the first one down, and you'll see once these 2 photos are down, all you can see really of that painted background is the top strip and the bottom strip, but that works out really nicely for me because it's the 2 bluey greys, which I adore. So just tucking that under. And now I'm pulling out the alphabets from this collection, and these are very similar to the Where To Next alphabets, but they are a little bit thinner, which I really enjoy. So I'm just going to spell out Wembley at the bottom, and I'm putting this straight onto the photo because that's completely wasted space where the desk is. It works as a really nice mat for Wembley. And then in the sticker book there are some gorgeous black stickers, and they're just like the Florence alphabets from Bella Boulevard, which I really enjoy. They're black. Slightly smaller than the Florence alphabet, so I'm going to spell out Stadium Tour underneath that using those black thickers. So just working my way through, deciding which letters to use. It's not easy when it's one like this. I really struggle to make a decision in case I make the wrong one. Not that there is a wrong one, it's ridiculous. And these are those letters that I was talking about. They're absolutely gorgeous, aren't they? You'll see when I've spelled out the Stadium Tour there, just how similar they are to those Florence alphabets. So just going through now, I love this sticker book because it's got loads of tones of labels and tags, which I love. So I'm just pulling out one of the green ones here to create the little cluster that you've got on the left-hand side in the sketch. And then I'm going into the chipboard frames to see what else I can add. At first, I think I'm going to add this one with the 3 holes, but I didn't like that. Didn't like that one because it's got the space at the bottom to add something, use some writing or whatever. And then I saw this polka dot one and I thought, yeah, love that. So I'm going to use that. Just going to use half because it's going to be tucked underneath, so there was no point in tucking the other half underneath the photos. And then I spotted this one in the corner of my eye, and it says Smiles Are Contagious, and I just thought that was really cute, and it works really nice as a layering frame on top of that spotty one. So I'm just going to pull out the thinner Sticks 2 foam pads to add around the edge of the bit that's overlapping, not the photo, if that makes sense, because the photo's already up on foam pads. So I'm just adding this to the left-hand side of that frame. And these are great because they're pre-cut. They're really easy to add around. And then you can just pull off the backing. You can see the backing is easy release because it's wider than the actual foam pads. So very, very easy to peel off. So there we go. So I'm going to stick that down, then realise I haven't added any glue to the bit that's going over the photo. So I just have to bend my layout to get the glue. Honestly, sometimes I wonder where my head is. I'm definitely of an age. I think quite possibly the menopause are hitting and I'm so forgetful. So just having a look now to see what else there is. Now there's a cluster in the top right hand corner and it's got a circle, and I just spotted this circle frame and I thought, oh yes, that would work nicely up there. So I'm just having to pull off that foam pad because it's in the way of where the circle's going to go. So just peel that off, get the circle situated, and then I can add another foam pad to that corner so that it's not overlapping the chipboard. So here I am just adding that now. And then I can glue that chipboard down. So I don't pull off the backing yet because I want to be able to glue the chipboard piece down, and then I'll pull the backing off that foam pad. So back to these stickers now, and I want to add one of the circular ones behind that rectangular one. So I'm going in with a darker green just to add a bit of variety. And I'm going to start building up that cluster. So now looking through the paper clips, I'm going through all the pieces in this collection, really getting to know it. My first layout I'm never amazingly happy with, and I do love this layout, but it's not the best work I've ever created. But you really get to know the collection when you start working with it, and then you can start to see what else you can do with it. So I'm sort of easing my way in by working my way through the bits and pieces. I don't have the papier pieces yet. They should be here in the next couple of weeks. I don't have the stamps and the journaling ephemera, but just about everything else I've got now. So adding another sticker from that 6x12 sticker sheet, and it just says remember. These are jam-packed full of bits and pieces to add to your layouts. This camera works really nicely at the bottom, but look what I'm doing. I've overlapped it straight over that title that says Stadium Tour. So I had some foam pads and then quickly realised what I've done and just shift it over to the left a little bit. You can see I've also added some of the paper clips while I was wittering on. I didn't notice that I'd done that already. A blue one at the top and then a clear one with a colour wheel on the left-hand side on that little cluster there. So now looking through the ephemera icons, and I'm just going to pull these out of the bags and have a quick flick through to see if there's anything I want to add. I wanted something else for that top cluster. I saw this purple heart and I thought that would work nicely with the colours in the photo, so I'm adding that as a layering piece behind that paper clip. And then in the second pack, I spot a pair of glasses, reading glasses. Now, I'm trying to be better at not being so literal in my use of ephemera pieces because it really does restrict me. And it's also a waste, you know, if you're not using half the bits that you buy in a pack. It's wasteful, isn't it? So when I saw these reading glasses, I thought, well, you wear glasses to see things. They're on a stadium tour, so I've added those up there. And I do think they work really nicely. I like the size of them as well, that it really finishes that cluster off at the top. So just gluing everything down, getting that purple heart on there, and then I'll add the glasses on an angle. And they overlap the photo, but that's absolutely fine. There's a lot of wasted space on this photo, so overlapping a little bit of that stadium really doesn't matter. And then just last thing, I see that right-hand frame that I cut off before and decided to add that to the right-hand side of the layout just to extend the line out a little bit there. And then I'm going to add another sticker from the 6x12 sticker sheet underneath Stadium Tour. I just felt it needed something under there to finish it off, to provide a bit of a break line. And this one just says lovely little moments, and I thought that worked really nicely. And finally, I'm going to come in with my roller date stamp and just add the date, which was 17th of March 2018. Easy for Ross to remember because it's St. Patrick's Day. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I shall see you tomorrow for day 29. Nearly there now. Bye.